What's going on, family? One of the questions I got in my inbox was, can an old relationship, an old flame, an old marriage, can they rekindle what they had? And not saying that it can't happen, not saying that two people that are not mature enough on a level to where they've changed, they've grown in leaps and bounds. Not saying that it can't happen, but you better ask yourself this one question. What are you willing to sacrifice? What are you willing to sacrifice? What are you willing to give up? What is it that you're willing to do? Because there's a reason why it didn't work out. There's a reason why a relationship did not work out. And before you start pointing the finger at the other person, you got to start looking at yourself. A lot of times, exes that you have been involved with, you're on a level to where you're always looking outwardly, but you need to start looking inwardly. And we'll talk about that later on. But it can work. Not saying that it can't. It can. But it's going to take a lot of dedication. It's going to take a lot of forgiving. It's going to take a lot of closure to what took place, because a lot of people that got divorced, ended up splitting up, all that stuff or whatever, a lot of it had to do with them not really closing certain doors. And whenever you're not bringing closure to certain things that you need to just get rid of, it lingers over into your personal relationship, even if you're really trying to rebuild something with the person that you had broken up with years ago, months ago, or whatever. So there's a lot that goes into it. There's a lot of gray areas that are involved in this that is much more deeper than just the norm. And if we're going to be able to build, it's really going to take for us to really be honest with ourselves and really think about some things and say, you know what? If I really want to be with this individual, that means I'm going to have to go back to what took place. Make sure that he's healed. Make sure that she's healed in order for you all to build. Now, a lot of times, the reason why it doesn't work is because a lot of times we're always going back to what we're used to dealing with. And this is the reason why a lot of couples are never able to move forward with somebody else new, because they always have somebody in reserve. They always have somebody else that they're used to dealing with. And a lot of things are nothing more than just physical. It's nothing more than just sex. So what takes place is that here they are talking to somebody else, getting a chance to know them, falling in love with them, but they're still missing somebody from their past. And they already know that the person that they're dealing with doesn't want anything else with them than just what's physical. And so what happens is that they're telling the person that they're in love with this person, they want to build with them, they can be friends with them. But then, of course, we know they're never going to be able to be strictly platonic friends with you, because all they want from you is what they have been getting from you and nothing more. And so they're going to stick around until you decide that you say, you know what? Things ain't work out with the person that you're dealing with, because there's some things that you have within yourself that's unresolved. And so now here you are trying to build with somebody else when you have not completely cut everybody else off, because, quote unquote, you want to be friends with exes. A whole different story. We'll talk about that. I just wanted to throw that out there. But in order to grow with the person, in order to rekindle something old, you got to be willing to sacrifice something. And to be honest with you, a lot of us are not willing to sacrifice what we thought we was willing to sacrifice. For the simple fact, because you can love somebody, you can want to grow with them, but until you sacrifice, make a sacrifice for the marriage or for the relationship, really to grow. That means cutting people off. That means reinventing the wheel. That means getting in touch with your feelings, bringing closure to things in your past. Then it's not going to work. Have a blessed and amazing day. Last but not least, this is a moment in your life. God is bigger than this moment, and that's the reason why we press. Have a blessed day.